when I walked through the door, we had Marcel Desailly, Gallas, Terry, Lampard, Jimmy Floyd, Good Johnson, like really good players, big players. And who if they went to another club, they'd be looking immaculate. But it was just Chelsea, the richest club in the world, and probably the worst training ground in all of the top flights in Europe. It was terrible.
Joe Cole, the one and only Brazilian player that England ever produced for the last 2 decades.
Do you know what, right? Like,
It's always me introducing you.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
After you introduce yourself.
I'll give you the money afterwards. It's fantastic. Yeah, I like it.
All right. You take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Fantastic. Let's go your way. Can you introduce yourself?
Joe Cole, ex-footballer, pundit, played for West Ham, Chelsea. Chelsea were my boyhood team, so it's my dream. Every kid to play for the team that they support. And now, retired, and Mikel, it's a great job what we do, but nothing feels the same as playing. That's the price we pay for having the privilege of being a footballer.
So punditry, golf,
trying,
paddle, coaching, manager.
That would be my dream. I'm just waiting for the right time. When I retired, I come back from America and I started working straight away with Chelsea's academy.
Yeah.
And the punditry was something I did on the side, just for interest really. And then that started to grow. You start getting asked back to do it. And then the punditry thing got to the point where, right, because I was working 3 days a week at Chelsea, and I was like, right, okay, I need to go full time now.
Which age group?
From 16s to 23s. And the first team I coached, it had Mason Mount, Reece James. I say coach, they were the first group that I worked with a little bit. Mason Mount, Reece James, Tomori, Chalobah, Gallagher, all Premier League players in the youth team. So I'm thinking, this is just the normal across England. Like, we're producing some great players. And then obviously you start to realise them when you see them in games against other academies and they're beating them 3-4, 5-0. There's a special group of players. So I was lucky to have a good team to coach. But it got to the point where I was like, right, my kids are young. I see the commitment, and I don't like to do something and not do it properly.
100%.
So I said, listen, let me just take some time, do the media, enjoy my life, play a bit of golf, skiing, keep myself busy. I can always come back to that, because as long as but it's getting to the point now where people start seeing you as just a pundit,
Yeah.
So I have to make the decision too.
Yeah. Go back into the coaching later on. Can you share with us your upbringing?
Pretty much, well, you know the area, Camden Town, very well. When you played for Arsenal, you lived in Hampstead, right?
Yeah.
So Camden is a market, a famous market around the world, and my family were all market traders, fruit and veg. Grew up on the markets, selling fruit, selling vegetables.
But now you're saying that,
I
understand why you are quite chatty.
Yeah,
natural for you.
Well,
is it that?
Yeah, well, I was actually quite shy as a kid, but I tell you what, right? So I used to go and work with my mum and dad Saturdays and stuff, because my mum worked with my dad. Because when it's a store, it's a family business. Yeah. So when I was really young, my nan, my brother and sister, my nan and granddad was like, can't have them free. They're getting old. So it's like, I went to work. I was mainly just a nuisance. Like, it got to the point I was trying to play football with like the oranges and the apples. And I love, like, anyone who's worked on a market is so much fun. You get to know all of the different people on the stall, and then you start getting little responsibilities. Like, you start picking up a few boxes here, take them there, and then you want to do more. Then, like, I'll be like, Dad, can I get the teas. So then I go and get everyone a cup of tea. So I had to go to the shop, take the money.
Okay.
You know, and I'd always buy myself a chocolate bar as well, put it in the back pocket. And then one day it got to, because I did it for a few years. So I was about 11, 12. And on the side of the stall where they sold the melons and the things that you didn't have to weigh, like things that like 2 for £1 bank. So I got the money belt and I was really shy, but then I had to, it's great for me. It probably helped me in the TV career because I was a shy kid. But then he said, well, if you're going to sell the melons, you have to shout and tell the people the price because the price changes. So I was this 12-year-old kid. 2 for £1, 3 for £1, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, and it was a buzz because when you sell them all, and actually people do sell to, if they see a kid up there, they oh yeah, go on, I'll have one. Blah, blah. So my job was to sell the melons on the side of the, and I managed to do it. So, but then the football started taking off.
Yeah.
And I was playing football and then my mum had to take me to football, my dad. So
you had to quit.
I had to quit the job. But who knows, maybe I'll learn a stall when the punditry finish, if the coaching don't work out. But it was a good upbringing, a tough part of London, but also what's beautiful about that part of London, we call them in England like council estates and, you know, not good people, but, you know, working class. Mm-hmm. And then you have places like Hampstead, which is beautiful, Primrose Hill, where you get movie stars and singers and blah, blah, blah. So you're always...
Footballers.
And footballers. Can remember one day, George Graham, who was the Arsenal manager, he parked outside the back of our estate. And this was in the early 90s. And the Arsenal is to North London.
Yeah.
Someone saw him, told everyone it was like, it's George Graham. And everyone was running around the market trying to find George Graham. He probably was trying to buy himself something. But it was a fun place to grow up there.
Fantastic. Your family is not into the football.
No.
Right. What are the pros and cons?
I was never taught football. I told you I was on the stalls at 10, 11. So I hadn't played in a team, organised team, till I was 11. So I watched one game a week on television and then it was just in the playground playing street football. And I'd watch the older kids do something. Then I'd try and do it. And if I couldn't do what they could do with a ball, it'd frustrate me. So then I'd go home. When I had to go home for my tea, and I couldn't play on the main pitch, I'd go and play by myself until I could do the skill, whether it was a Cruyff turn or something. So I taught myself completely. I had no influence. My dad was not a football person. He used to like boxing. He used to like, but just not. And it was really unusual where we was. So I learned a few lessons later than I should have done in football. I was still raw when I was playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
At 17, I went straight into the Premier League. I was so raw, but I was so unusual. People loved to watch me play because the flick, the trick, you know. Harry Redknapp he was brilliant with me because he'd allow me to make mistakes, and he'd only pull me up when I went really far. You know what I mean? But you
tried to beat the same man twice, right? Basically.
Yeah, you know. When I go for a nutmeg rather than try and make an assist or something, you know. So I was still raw. So that is the con. I think maybe if I'd have been told these things a bit younger,
right,
a little bit, maybe I could have been more ready. But, you know, I was playing Premier League at 17.
We're going to the second chapter, West Ham.
Yeah.
That group of players, Rio Ferdinand, Frank Lampard, Michael Carrick, Joe Cole, Glenn Johnson. Who else?
Jermaine Defoe. Defoe, yeah.
He gave me some tough time.
Yeah, he give everyone a tough time.
Still does in the Legends game.
Yeah, mate.
Still hard to catch. You won so many titles, all of you.
Yeah.
Whether it was at club level, I was going to say England.
No.
Whether it was at club level.
Fortunately not England.
Almost. Could have been. I mean.
Could have been.
But yeah. It's amazing to have such a concentration of players emerging at the same time.
Yeah.
Is it due to the scouting? I want to know from your point of view.
Yeah.
What part is due to scouting?
Yeah.
Talent scouting, identification?
Yeah.
And players development at West Ham? Or is it both? Tell me.
It's both. But do you know what? Above all of that is people. Because all of them players you mentioned could have gone to any club. You know, in London's a small place and you know many people love football. If you're a good player, everyone knows you and they all want you and they, you know, they try to get you in. You know, when you walk into a building and the facilities, Mick, were dreadful. Dreadful. Like, honestly, there was nothing there. There was no the things you see now when you walk to a football club. Gym, ice baths, like even a canteen. There was like kettle, cup of tea, wasn't even the biscuits, blah, blah, blah. There was an indoor AstroTurf pitch and then outdoor pitches. And sometimes when we was kids, we had to train on the car park. People there made it so much fun, but also teaching you values and lessons. Because West Ham was always traditioned on the academy. It never was a club that could spend money on players, you know, like Arsenal or Tottenham. It was never that. So they had to produce players. So they got all these people in. And when you went there, you felt like a family. And because there was, and you know what I think was special? Because when we used to go in there as kids, 12, 13, 14, like, because it was such a small place, you see the first team, the guys that I would eventually play with, they have an affinity with them. They'd talk to you. They were good people.
It's interesting you say that because some of the clubs, on purpose, they separate the pros to know you.
I know.
And for me, it's kind of wrong because I was also in boarding school.
Yeah.
Academy.
Yeah.
And through my window room, I could see every day the pro training. You know, I could cross path also in a corridor at the physio room.
Yeah.
And that gives you aspiration. Encouragement, and it's weird because clubs, they do the opposite.
Yeah.
They want to make a difference. I think this way is better.
I do. Did you, when you got to your apprenticeship, did you get given jobs like we did in England, like clean the dressing rooms, clean the toilets, clean booths?
No, you forgot. You forgot about France.
Yeah. No,
this is possible.
Honestly, mate, like, so...
No. You wouldn't have, under 18, no chance you got to give someone a job.
It's like, so this is another thing which really helped me. So my job was, and I think Harry Redknapp's done this purposely, I think he gave the player that he thought was the closest to the first team. So my job was, after home games, I had to clean the dressing room, right? So that meant helping the kit man. So you go around, you pick up all the dirty kit, put it in the thing, make sure the towels are there, the shorts are there.
For you, it was easy because you've been working with your mum at the markets.
Yeah.
It was nothing out of the ordinary, right?
Exactly. I was a working man from a young age.
But for some of the guys, probably it was a life lesson. No?
Do you know what? I think it doesn't happen now. We were the last year it happened. I think the clubs do a better job at educating the lads. So they don't do the menial jobs. They get an education. So when I went coaching at Chelsea now, they tailor it for the kid. Like, there was one lad in the academy. He wasn't very bright. He wasn't very educated. He didn't like school, but he liked to cut hair. So he was getting trained to be a barber. So if he didn't make it as a football,
so he's done yours.
He had to train. No, not mine. There's not much there. There's not much to. So like, that was good. But when I used to like finish the game, I had to get the train back all the way to Camden from East London. So if West Ham lost, I would miss the last train.
Yeah.
So like, I'd be waiting for Harry, and I could hear him shouting. That got me used to that. You know, you work with Ferguson. You know, he sometimes. So Harry was like that sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So I heard him from the age of 15, 16 talking to men. You should have done that. Swearing, blah, blah. And I would hear him through the door, and then they'd come out. He'd go in his office, and then one of the other coaches would go in and start cleaning. And the lads will still be there getting changed, and you'd hear them moaning about the manager, or there might have even been a fight or something. So I got all of that experience from doing that job. So when I went in to make my debut, I knew what was coming. I knew it was coming. Going back to what you said, I think it's so important that the players are close to
the players from the academy are close to the
absolutely
the senior pros. Yeah, that helps. And if they need to be told off, then they will.
Yeah, exactly. You need to learn the values.
Can you share the best in training and the worst in training?
The best.
I don't know if there is a worst, but is the best in training?
Best in training.
During your time at
Frank Lampard
with these guys, yeah.
Frank Lampard was incredible. Because honestly, in a way, he set the tone. Because for all of us young players, he was the oldest. He was older than Rio. He used to get the spikes, the running spikes.
Yeah.
Like after training,
right.
Because his dad, because he was a good player himself, played for West Ham. And he'd say to him, Frank, you're not mobile enough. And he used to do his finishing sessions and his long runs. Then he'd go and he'd get his spikes on and he'd do like doggies, bang.
On
bang.
What? On the
Just
track?
on the grass. No, on the
grass.
But he used the spikes because I don't know why he did that, but he thought they'd be make it more sharper.
Okay.
And you've never seen anyone train as hard as him, and he's an example. So he was an example. So that all went down. I couldn't look at that and I didn't get the spikes on, but I did runs and then I did finishing. And then Carrick, Carrick did the same as well.
Yeah.
You played with him.
Yeah.
We all done it. So that, to talk about culture, Frank was the best trainer. He right the way through my career.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No secret, huh?
No secrets. There is no secrets.
And the worst?
The worst trainers.
Or after, during your time with the first team.
With West Ham or with Chelsea?
Yeah, West Ham. No, West Ham.
With West Ham.
Because you can have a player that is
talented,
not giving 100%.
Yeah. Do you know?
Match day.
Yeah. Oh, match day. It's a good question. Do you know what? I didn't. Do you know there used to be a player called Julian Dix, right? Before your time. I only played a few games with him, right? But he never used to warm up. He used to have we used to go out for. Maybe you go to warm up. No. He got in the bath and had a can of Coke.
Right.
They'd be drinking it like that, and they'd just go out, kick off, go out, and then play. See what I mean? Like, football was just different then. And everyone just accepted it. There was 2 or 3 players just decided they didn't want to warm up. No problem. So that was 99 when I first started playing. But it's just, so the worst trainer. He was a fantastic player, but he didn't train.
He didn't train.
He decided to warm up, so he just done his thing.
I had a similar experience when I joined Portland Timbers in MLS.
Yeah.
It was players taking hot bath before training.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? They don't have a shower at home or something? But no, that was a way for them to get warmed up.
Mate, listen, every culture has different things, don't they, that they do.
You learn every day.
You do.
Yeah. So we're talking about professional attitude and environment at West Ham. How was it?
No. We trained hard. As you know, all English players train hard. Something in our whoop. But then the opposite was like, off the pitch, the examples I was getting wasn't good examples of how to be a professional footballer, So in my early years, I wasn't a massive drinker of alcohol, but I like to go out and party, as young players do.
Mm.
And I probably did, certainly compared to the now generation, a lot more than I should have done. And because, I didn't come from a footballing family. And my mum and dad, I love them. And they said to me, listen, they very much got my spirit. And they're like, listen, you enjoy yourself first. Do you know what I mean? Like,
doing your job.
You're here for, so my parents weren't, stay in, do this, don't go, don't do, like, go out, enjoy yourself. Your mates are out. Don't get in trouble. Don't get arrested. Don't do that. Do you know what I mean? But enjoy yourself. So discipline didn't come until I went to Chelsea.
Right. Because there wasn't any leaders at West Ham showing the way
there wasn't
discipline and professionalism.
No, there was some. Paolo Di Canio was a fantastic player.
It's actually someone I wanted you to talk to me about.
He was a fantastic footballer. He nearly went to Manchester United. He had the opportunity to go to Manchester United, and he turned it down, which is incredible for me because at the time he was probably one of the best players in the league.
Me turn a few times.
Yes. Mikel, you couldn't. I used to look at him and he couldn't run. He was slow, but his technique was so good.
Yeah.
And his timing of the chop. I've seen him sit people down so many times. Just like the best you've ever seen at that. just faking to shoot and then just taking the ball.
After JJ Okocha.
JJ was up there. But Paulo could finish as well. JJ was a midfielder. Paulo was a striker, pure striker. But he couldn't run at all. It's incredible. But he
very professional.
Very professional in some ways.
Right.
You know,
which ways?
In the ways that he'd lived the right life.
Okay.
He went to the gym, he run like Frank. He never went out. He was an older than us. He was like 29, 30. And he come from that Italian culture. But he was very passionate. So sometimes he was such a big personality, he didn't realise good effect he could have and the bad effect he could have, you know, because he was just, you know, he'd just say something, you know.
Okay,
so don't blame him for it. He was amazing with me. He helped me so much. But I reckon if you asked him now as an older man, he'd probably go, yeah, if I could have been a bit more composed and calm,
outburst.
He could have been even better than what he was. He was a fantastic footballer.
The other player I wanted you to talk to me about is Freddie Canute.
Oh, what a player. What a player.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated players, I think.
That was going to be my next question, West Ham.
Mate, he was so good. So good. And I'll tell you something, another story that you might not know. Didier Drogba, when he was at Guingamp.
Guingamp, yeah.
Guingamp.
Your French is getting better.
Pronunciation? Better is good. The manager at the time wanted to sign him for 1.75 million. No, when he went before Marseille.
Yeah.
Imagine you would have put Didier Drogba and Canute up front together.
I don't want to know.
You're a defender. See, I know. Freddie Canute he wasn't as good as Drogba, but he wasn't far off.
No, he wasn't.
Believe me, he was an incredible player. Yeah.
Great guy, Freddie.
Great guy.
Yeah.
A lot. Listen, he was a lot. He was old, not old. He was older than me and more mature than me. He had a family, so he wasn't. You know, he's Muslim as well, so he wasn't coming out to the parties. He was living the right life.
Yeah, it's a shame he was in the same time as Thierry Henry and Trezeguet. Otherwise, he would have a lot more caps with France for sure.
Yeah, he could have played.
So then
I'm surprised.
He played for, French national team youth level.
Yeah.
Under 21, he was with us, and then he played for Mali.
Mate, you produced some strikers. And Saha
from Lyon
as well.
You know, from
Saha?
Lyon Academy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oui, Saha, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Fred, Saha. Fred should have played.
Nicolas,
wow. Another player I played with. So many players.
Yeah.
So many great players.
Chelsea.
Yes.
All the money you put in the bank. Was it to compensate the training facility?
Mate, it's incredible, mate. Honestly.
Every single Chelsea player I speak to, William Gallas, Claude Makelele, Marcel Desailly before you take Rude.
Mate, Rude couldn't believe it. He come from Milan.
Oh my God. Milanello.
The Milanello, and he's like, what's going on here? It's been well documented. Like, we shared the training ground with a local netball team and hockey team. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we had to finish training quickly and get all our clothes and leave. And then these hockey guys were just doing it for after work, coming in.
And killing the pitch?
Killing the
pitch was already knackered.
The pitch was knackered. It was over Heathrow, and the pitch was terrible. There was no gym. Yeah, listen, it was no different to me because I come from West Ham. It was a little bit worse than West Ham. Okay. I'm not going to lie. But the difference was we had, when I walked through the door, we had Marcel Desailly, Gallas, Terry, Lampard, Jimmy Floyd, Good Johnson, like really good players, big players. And who if they went to another club, they'd be looking immaculate. But it was just Chelsea, the richest club in the world, and probably the worst training ground in all of the top flights in Europe. It was terrible, but...
So how long before you went into the new
Roman moved fast.
Yes, he
moved fast. He bought a place in Cobham, and it would take 2 years to build, but he just put... The pitches were done straight away, and then he put like porter cabins up.
Right.
But these porter cabins were like luxury compared to what we were doing. Do you know what I mean? The showers worked. The water was always then. The food, the kitchen was like the kitchen was so small at Harlington, like sometimes you couldn't all eat at the same time. You know, they'd be like
take turns.
To one.
But at least you didn't have to vacate the fish for the college team.
Mate, it's incredible. Honestly, people won't believe you when you say it, but it's true.
Yeah. You know, I was also surprised when I joined United because I arrived at the Cliff. I don't know if you heard.
I remember the Cliff.
You've been.
Yeah.
And I came also from Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Like his own, like Milanellos.
Yeah.
You have your room there.
Yeah.
Nice catering.
Yeah.
Beautiful gym, technology, apparel, everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of pitches. And then I get to the Cliff. One dressing room.
Yeah.
One small canteen.
Yeah.
And one pitch.
Yeah.
Like, where do we train on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Thursday. Same pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's madness, isn't it?
Amazing.
It's just mental. But it's the whole. Think about it. You come from Inter Milan when that was established as the best league in the world in the 90s, the Italian league. It was only the sort of like mid to late 90s, the Premier League was attracting the best players because they could pay them best wages. But the infrastructure around it all, so it was just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So me and you have watched the growth of it all now. Every club in the Premier League, you go to their training ground now. When I interview a player, and it is like walking into the Ritz in London.
Yeah, it's top.
It's top level.
The Spurs one.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's hard for me to say as well.
I believe you.
It's hard for me to say.
I believe it's amazing.
Yeah, they grow their own food.
Yeah, no, it's
like
it's next level.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The special one.
The special one. The big. Well, yes.
The special one. So, you can choose either 3 words.
Yeah.
Or you can develop a little bit to describe Jose.
I'll tell you the story we first met him. So we finished second and we got to the semi-final of the Champions League under Claudio. So we was there. We were a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then Claudio went and then Jose met us and he said to us, guys, he said, you're all losers. Basically, he said, look, I know how to win. Not in these exact words, but if you want to win the league, we'll win the league and we'll win it on this date. And he put the date up and it was like, this is what we're going to do. And he went, bang. And you're like, straight away you're like, wow, this guy's amazing. And then the first training sessions we did, it blew me away. It was like you went from one section of training to the other section of training to the other section. It all developed technically, tactically, small-sided, then it opened up, then small-sided again. Like my brain was frazzled. I was trying to take in so much information. It was like a proper education. And but he had us all in the palm of his hands.
Yeah. Very acute.
And then we were just like, and it was just like from the off, win. And it was like, you guys, Arsenal, and then we were there then. Do you know what I mean? Competing with you guys.
Yeah, no,
and then
you quickly gain success and you became the main threat to us quickly. And I remember preparing the games against you when Jose took over, and the one thing we had to avoid was to go through the midfield.
Yeah.
Because you had Makelele, Etia, and Frank in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So these guys were excellent. So we had to go over at diagonal, but no way. There was no way we could try to pass the ball there. It was like absolutely no go.
Yeah. We said that was it. We try and, if I was on the wing, I'd try and say you had the ball, I'd try and block the pass down there, make you play inside. But games were like chess then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
More defensively. Nowadays it's more open football, isn't it? Defenders play on the halfway line and blah, blah, blah. But them games when we played against each other were like 1-0, 2-1. There was nothing in it. It was just... And there were some tackles as well.
Oh, yeah.
There was not like... Do you know what I mean? I watched the game from 2005, Chelsea-Manchester United, and I'm watching it the other day. It was on telly, and it was some of the best players in the world. Ronaldo, Rooney, Drogba.
Tevez.
Carrick, Lampard, Makelele. I'm like... And we were just kicking lumps out of each other, and the ref was just like, play on.
Play on.
But it was exciting to watch.
Yeah. But always fair play, hard, but not mean.
No, because listen, you didn't want to get sent off because you'd let your team down. You know what I mean? So you had to. So everyone was professional.
So we've talked about the facilities that there was a massive upgrade during your time.
Yeah.
What about the organization as a club? Because you had how many managers in your time?
Well, that's my time at Chelsea. Must have been 7 or 8 managers in 7 years.
In 7 years.
It was like Ranieri, Mourinho, Avram Grant, Scolari, Gussidink, Carlo Ancelotti. Yes, 6 managers. Kept winning trophies. So, like, it was working. You know, like, you win. Sack a manager. When we loses 4 games in a row, gone. New regime, new something. But a lot of the dressing room was so strong. The smart managers, and I'm talking Carlo Ancelotti was the smartest manager. He walked into the dressing room. We hadn't won the league for 3 years. Remember, you guys went bang, 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 3 years in a row. We're thinking, mate, we had managers trying to change us from what we was.
Mm-hmm.
Carlo come in, and this is how great he is. He went, what did you do before? What was Jose doing? Like, this is the training methodology. The lads like that. Yeah. Right, well, so we do then. And he only changed 2 or 3 things. Then that year was the year we won the league back. My last year, actually. Jose had such an influence on Chelsea. Whenever things were going wrong, they always went back to that methodology of how we trained. Because I still think it's the best way.
I think we should give a call to, who's the manager now? at Chelsea?
Enzo.
So we should have Jose to give him a call.
Mate, I'm telling you, honestly, I don't think...
No, it's not the same players. It's not the same players. But you had the same players at the time, more or less.
Yeah, same players.
A big group.
We knew how to win. So tactically, like, you know what it's like. Like, we knew how we wanted to defend from set pieces, because why would you change it? We don't concede goals from set pieces. Why would you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then players push back. You would never experience that under Ferguson, because you were to the same guy the whole time. So it's just smooth. Chelsea was not smooth.
That's the thing. Imagine I spent 9 years and the same manager for all this time. Whereas you had 7 years.
Yeah.
6 or 7 managers.
Yeah. You can't relax ever, because you don't know. The worst is when a new manager comes in, you're like, is he going to like me? Is he not? Do you know what I mean? So you're always on your toes.
You have to prove.
Yeah.
Again and again.
Yeah.
Then again.
Yeah. But Ferguson made you guys do that anyway, didn't he?
He did it for himself, because he knew, he said, not the exact words, but every time you're at the top, the only way out is down.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every time he brought new first-team coaches.
Yeah.
Not every year, but the succession.
Freshen it up.
Yeah, it was a big difference.
Really?
It's not like you have to prove, but it's a different methodology, different voice, different sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's good, you don't fall into a routine. So that was his big strength to be able to.
Who do you think was the best coach you've had?
The best coach? Carlos Queiroz.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah, he was tactically very acute.
Yeah.
He made us grow, especially for the Champions League games.
Yeah.
Because we kept losing early quarterfinal, semi-final, and he made us step forward for us. We prepared the games in a much better way. Going back to your players at Chelsea, let's start with the most underrated.
Most underrated. Do you know we don't get a lot of respect? Not respect, but recognition.
Yeah.
And I always say his name, Paulo Ferreira.
Right.
Because he played right back a lot, and I played on the right. But he's a fantastic footballer. Defensively, really good. Had some big games in cup finals against United. I think FA Cup final. He marked Cristiano. Done a great job on him. But he's most underrated. Good Johnson as well.
Yeah.
Good Johnson's a player.
Wow.
He's
on his day.
Yeah, the sad thing is for Ada is he's such a big player for Chelsea, but he went to play for Spurs for 1 year, and at Chelsea that's just like they can't give him the love that he should have, because he's so talented. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was a great player.
The best teammate at Chelsea. When I say teammate, I mean the one that you had the best connection on the field.
On the field.
Yeah, that give you the most, and you give him the most of.
In terms of this, like Paulo Ferreira was the one. I think I liked him because he just kept giving me the ball. But he was so humble. Like he was just like, "Hey, you, Bubba, keep feeding me." Feel like so. I liked it. Makaleli.
Yeah.
Makaleli was brilliant. He like another one.
You knew he was a striker.
Told me this, and I said, "I don't believe it. You'd have to show me the footage."
But you know why? Couldn't score a goal.
No, because he was a winger. I was like, Maka, no, you're lying. I still not seen the footage.
When he was coming in front of the goal was moving.
When we won the league the first year, he was the only one that hadn't scored.
I remember.
He took
the penalty.
And he missed it. It was like he was trying to miss it. He hit the first one into the ground. The goalkeeper saved it. And then the rebounds got the whole goal. And then he hit that into the ground. And technically he was so good. But when he was in front of goal, he just was like, couldn't do it, could he? But a brilliant player.
To finish the Chelsea chapter,
yeah,
your best game.
My best game.
Not necessarily the one that you scored a screamer or assist, but
okay.
Your most accomplished performance during 90 minutes.
Oh, good question. Not even thought about.
You see strikers.
Yeah.
You think about the glory.
Yeah. Yeah. Most accomplished everything. Do you know what? It's not the best. I wouldn't say it's the best game. The 4-2 game against Barcelona was my favourite game. We beat them when Ronaldinho done the boom.
Yeah.
You know.
The toe poke.
I didn't score. I think I assisted 2, but it was just because they battered us at the new camp, and everyone expected them to come and just. It was Messi and Ronaldinho and Eto'o and Xavi Iniesta, and we went 3-0 up. And I think it was like because it was the stadium was the most I've ever heard it lit up, and that was my favourite game. Good going forward, but good defensively because you have to be.
Who was the left back or right back?
Van Bronckhorst.
But
I played on the right that day.
Okay.
And then I went to the left when we switched formations. But he was a good player, but he was better going forward than he was defensively. That's fair. Like he was a great going forward. He was a fantastic defender, but that was a good game, man. But some great players on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho and Messi at the same time.
Not bad.
And we beat him.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Just to finish on Chelsea.
Yeah.
So that was your first love as a club.
Yeah.
How come you didn't join them when you were younger?
Terrible youth team. They had a terrible youth team.
Really?
It was like I couldn't because like genuine. I went where I felt comfortable and happy. And
but
that's
did you try out?
I tried at Chelsea, yeah. I played for Chelsea and they didn't have good players.
Right.
You know, and like, you know, as much as I love Chelsea, I wanted to play for them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to play with these youngsters.
You didn't want to lose every weekend.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
So West Ham had the best players,
right.
had the most fun. So I signed for West Ham. But when I had the opportunity to sign for Chelsea, it was a dream. Do you know what I mean? Because you, as a kid, you're like, it was signing for Chelsea. They're not the team I supported as a kid. Now they're competing with Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. I felt like the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly in Camden.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. Last chapter.
Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah.
A golden one. Not
golden
really.
One. Not really.
England. We have to talk about England. We faced each other.
Yeah. Played France at the Stade de France, right?
I think I wasn't
Ribéry,
playing.
Maybe.
I wasn't playing.
Yeah, I played.
No, it was 2004. But
mate, listen.
Your best moment.
My best moment for England, apart from making my debut.
Yeah.
Because
this is the obvious.
This is the obvious, right? Yeah. Everyone knows this. But obviously, scoring the goal at the World Cup in 2006, which was like, I was not renowned for my long distance goals. So why I was shooting there, I don't know. But the balls come out just before half time and I was playing really well. And the ball, you know, the only reason I shot was because I was tired. And I thought, if it goes in, great. If it don't go in, I'm not having to run back because it was like late in the half. But as it just sat up, just hit the ball, I felt, you know, when you strike, that's got a chance. And it just kept dipping and dipping. And it dropped in the goal. And it was like, to score a goal any goal at the World Cup's great. You're lucky. But to score that kind of goal, and it was voted. I think it was voted the second best England goal at a World Cup or a tournament of all time. So like
behind
Paul
Gascoigne. No.
1966, Jeff Hurst.
Okay.
When we won it, it's that long ago. It was in black and white. You won't remember. France have won it about 3 times since then. You're all right. So that was my best moment in an
How
English
can you
shirt.
be tired and have such a good finishing? Because if I'm tired, my ball's gonna be.
I tell you why, right? I tell you why. I love that technique of the volley,
Right.
because at West Ham, I remember with
Paolo
Di
Canio.
coaches,
Yeah.
Peter Braybrook, always do that session. You know that one where you throw it,
Yeah.
chest
Volley.
after training. So it's like any,
In the D.
yeah, boom, bye. And I used to love it. And in England, we used to call it the paintbrush, because it's like you just paint because you hit up it. So like that was
a real piece of art.
Yeah. Boom.
Nice.
So that was special. And with England and our generation with the Champions League, so many moments where you're like, what has happened there with England? You know, whether it be Rooney getting sent off against Portugal, losing a penalty shootout. In 2004, the penalty spot moved on David Beckham when he'd taken the penalty. 2010, we score against Germany. It goes that far in over the line, and the referee don't see it. I'm not making excuses, but because all of them things happened, but ultimately, tactically, Mikel, we wasn't good enough. Honestly, and
so that was your weakness?
Tactically, we wasn't good enough. And
how come? I know you don't have much time to prepare with national teams.
No,
and,
because...
are we talking about managers? Are we talking about players?
I think
personal awareness? Culturally, yeah.
Culturally, we're only catching up now with this generation.
Absolutely. I have the same feeling with Manchester United, because that's why when Carlos Queiroz came, I thought we made the jump to what I was used to in France and Italy as well. Yeah. You know, so probably you had the same issues at the national team level.
It can work in England because everyone's playing the same way. You know, everyone's playing the 4-4-2 more or less. Mm-hmm. Don't lose the ball. Everything's very safe. There was no bravery in the amount of times I played for England, and we played not so much when we played the good teams because we was a little bit more respectful, but when we play against teams that we should beat, and they'd have more possession of the ball against us. And it was only because they're positioned and they have a plan on building through the stages rather than just relying on a great goal from someone or a great cross from Beckham or Steven Gerrard hitting one from 30 yards. You know, we never had that structure. And then from 2010, they started building this structure into the curriculum of all of the academies. And then the players have learnt from all the great foreign players
and the
come over, and managers. And then now the young English player is tactically astute, whereas we was just great players at that level. You needed to have that extra bit, and we didn't have it.
Yeah, you need to be educated tactically.
Yeah, and we
was missing.
We couldn't adapt. We couldn't adapt. And
what a shame. It
is a shame. You have to be pragmatic about it because it didn't happen and his time's gone. Nobody's got the time machine. But this is why I support the England team now, because I think all the mistakes that we made were made for, it might be for these guys' destiny to get the job done.
Yeah, maybe it's a lesser quality.
Yeah.
Maybe this bunch compared to yours, but tactically they can get out of situations because they are strong and they've got the awareness and the culture.
And so that we're part of that journey. We had to make the mistakes for them to win it. And I think if you look at it like that as an ex-player, then that's the best way to look at it. I don't like it when I'm with ex-players and I feel like they don't want the team to win now. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no need for that. It's just, we've had our time. We've won our trophies. We've had our glory. Now the new generation, now it's their turn.
I need to ask you this question. What was your worst moment then with England?
With England?
Collectively? Oh no, personally.
Personally, with England, my worst moment.
Your lowest?
Lowest moment was my last game, 2010, losing to Germany 4-1 in come off the bench.
In South Africa?
South Africa, yeah, mate. It was just like, it just felt like the end. I didn't realise it was my last game at the time because I never really recovered from my big knee injury I got.
I was going to ask you because you choose this moment.
Yeah.
Is it because of the game by itself, your performance, or was it after? Or is it both, the aftermath?
The fact that it was my last game because I love playing for England.
No, but you didn't know, so it's after.
I didn't know. I just felt like we were so far off it against the Germans, this young team. I thought there's no way there's no way now that this team that we lost our chance. Do you know what I mean? So that was a low point. But also looking back on it now, I was never capable of. I had some good seasons after 2010, you know, but I was never consistently able to produce the levels I had played because of my knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I maybe looking back at it now, I think I must have had a feeling that at the time, because you know when you go into the game and you're constantly in pain and it's horrible and you can't do the things you used to be able to do. That happened to me at 29. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it happens to players at 32, 33, 34. Sometimes it happens to players at 21, 20 when they don't even have a career.
Yeah.
But that happened to me then. Looking back now, I must have had a sense that it might have been my last time. Yeah, because of the pain and, you know, I'd train and I think, oh, that feels good. I'd wake up the next day, a knee would be like that. Then I'd have to manage myself in training, maybe not do this, go easy. Then your levels start to come down a little bit. Then your muscle injuries start. And that's a hard journey for a footballer, but it happens to most players, unless they Tony Kroos and retire. You know what I mean?
At the top,
at 34. But, you know.
We need to give him a call, Tony Kroos, to say, no, stay in the game, please. Because
please stay.
You will make a return anytime soon.
Yeah, mate. Play on for as long as you can.
Yeah. The best manager in England shirt.
Best manager in an England shirt. Sven. Sven, again, I think Sven as a man was absolute top class. He was a good people's person, manager.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't tactically believed in a way of playing that needed to change and evolve. So that's what I say about the you know, we wasn't strong enough tactically. But as a manager and as a person and someone who's cool, calm, collected, looked after his team, he was as good I'd had.
Yeah.
So he was the top.
Yeah, because when you go especially into tournaments, you spend 3-4 weeks, 1 month in total with the preparation, even more. It's important to have a very good atmosphere. So he was setting a good tone and
was fine. Maybe we need be a bit more intelligent as a team.
Golden generation.
Yeah.
And I've got to talk about your midfield.
Yeah.
And probably you've been put on the spot before, but again, because I don't know, I need to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes. You got to pick the number one.
Well, I've asked this question. I've answered this question many, many times, right? And I'm not going to dodge it because you have to say, one for what? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if I'm one for...
The one that Joe Cole wants in his team to play week in, week out and win trophies with England.
Oh, it's tough. I'd have to go with...
I know it's tough.
I'd have to...
I know.
I think Steven Gerrard had the most attributes out of all of them. So I'd have to go with Steven. I love Frank. Frank's amazing. Love Scholesy. Top class. Do you know what I mean? But Stevie just had everything. He could dribble. He could tackle. He could shoot. He could play right back. He could play centre half. He could play anywhere on the pitch.
So the biggest package.
He's the most complete player I've ever played with.
Mm.
But I'm going to put an asterisk on this.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a manager and I could have any of them at 21 to play for my team, I could have a 10-year contract and I could build the team, I'd choose Frank, because Frank never got injured. He got you 15, 20 goals a season and you knew what you was getting. Sometimes Stevie missed games through injury, do you know what I mean? And sometimes he was a bit there, and you know, and then if I was manager of Barcelona and I had to pick one of them, it would be Scholesy.
Right.
So I've dodged the question lovely there, isn't it? I've evaded it.
Yeah.
Dropped the shoulder.
Like on the pitch.
Yeah.
I know we've touched on this when we started this podcast about you being a coach, a manager. Is there a plan? Is there a vision?
There's a vision. There's not a plan yet.
Right.
So I'm gonna go in and this season actually I'm gonna start doing study visits and working and watching, because I want to manage more than coach, because I know enough great coaches I have in my team already. Right. So that side of it is actually that I know the people I'd work with at different levels. I don't want to say in case they're in a job now. Do you know what I mean? yeah, I'm going to start doing study visits. I've applied for one job in my life as a coach and manager. That was the England under-21s job.
That was
Yeah.
where I was going with
Yeah.
that. England, the FA.
It's something that we need to get better at in this country. I think we've gone so far the other way where we've gone for like coaches, you know, us non-playing coaches who've probably been coaching since they were 17. So they've got every session under the sun. They know how to do this. They're brilliant, and you need people like that. But you also need players who've played, who've got intelligent insight into what's going on and a wisdom. And we've gone away from that with England. We need to get back.
So, Joe, what can we wish you for the future?
I'd like to have an opportunity to manage a team with a good owner who wants to build something together. I'd love that. Doesn't have to be in England. In fact, probably it's not likely to be in England because it's crazy.
Your French is very good, mon ami.
Mon ami. Yeah, well, listen, I'd need to brush up on it, Mikel. I'd have to do a crash course. I'd have to read L'Equipe a few more times. But yeah, anywhere, you know, there'll be an opportunity for me somewhere, and I'd like to do it. And the dream for me would be to one day manage England. That would be the dream.
Got to dream big.
You have to dream big.
You have to dream big.
That's when we were kids. That's what we did.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, my friend.
All the best.
Enjoyed that.
Thank you.